Hey guys, this video is going to be about Allie and my pregnancy story with her. So, I just wanted to start off with saying that I found out about Allie when I was 3 months pregnant. I think it was around there. I'm not really sure the exact time, but I think it maybe been a little bit earlier than that. But about 3 months pregnant, and at this point, I was 19 years old, and I did not really know how to go about doing anything as far as, um, like where to go for testing. Like, I mean, I knew what to do, but I didn't know how to start the process. So I went to Planned Parenthood, and that's where I went to go get a pregnancy test. It came out positive, and they said, okay, here's a proof of pregnancy, you can get some insurance and go find a doctor because, you have to start seeing a doctor. And then I didn't know how to choose a doctor. I mean, there's so many doctors here. It's like, how do I find the right one? Well, luckily, I did have a friend to talk to who already had a baby. And so she told me that, she referred me to her doctor, and she said that he was really good and that she felt really comfortable going with him, so that I should give him a try. So I did, and I was really happy with my decision. And sorry, I'm looking down because I have everything written down on my notes. So, well, I did set up a doctor's appointment at first. So me and Daniel, we went to the appointment, and it was, I was scared, nervous, excited, but I was a little bit scared. I didn't know what to expect at the doctor's office and anything like that. But I fell in love right away. He took a sonogram, and he said that he actually takes sonograms at every single doctor's visit that you go to, because he said that he believes you should start watching your child grow from inside the belly, not just starting from when your baby's born. So he gives us pictures with every visit, and I mean, I just loved it, and from then on, I mean, I fell in love. And then the next hard thing that I had to do was tell my mom. Now, she was always kind of strict, so I was scared to tell her, and I did it in the wrong way. I Now that I'm older, I know that I didn't really do it right, but at that time, I was just like, you know what, I need to get it out, and so I did it while she was leaving for work. That was probably the worst thing that you could do. I mean, I know I would never want to be hit with bad news before going to work, and then I would have like a bad work day. So, I mean, but that's what I did. And, at that time I was like, I'm scared, and if I tell her, she's gonna leave. So at least I'll have a little bit of, okay, I told her, and I get to wait before she tells me anything. So, I waited. She actually worked at night, so I did tell her right as she was outside, and I said, "Mom, I have to tell you something." I don't know, my mom was just kind of like, "What, Brandy? What?" I was like, "I'm pregnant," and then she was like, "What?" And you could just see her face drop, and I was like, "I'm pregnant," and she kind of just got in her car, went to work, and I was scared because I was like, "Okay, I've got until." My mom's gonna get home around 6:30 in the morning. What's she gonna do? And she came home, went to her room, went to bed, and she didn't talk to me for a whole week. I was, I was, I was, I was thinking she was never gonna talk to me again. And she finally she did come home one day, and she said, "Hey, we're gonna go and talk. We're just gonna go and have a talk and have a walk and stuff like that." So we kind of just did. Finally, she did talk to me. She said, she didn't. She was really. It just came unexpected to her, And I was really young. I was 19 years old when I got pregnant, and I had Allie when I was 20. So I mean, I was young. But finally, she got over it, and after that, I was just so happy that she was finally talking to me again, because then I could talk to my mom about the pregnancy questions that I had and talk to her and stuff like that. And I know that she did kind of seem a little, well, at least what I thought was, when she said, "How do you know you're pregnant?" And I was like, I went to the doctor's office, and I already have my sonogram and stuff, and I think she was kind of shocked, like, hey, like maybe, that was something that she wanted to kind of see, or, maybe just that I did all this stuff without her knowing. I don't know, but I was so glad that finally she was talking to me. So, anyways, before I knew that I was going to have a girl, I just bought a gender-neutral sleep and play, like those little jumpers and full body suits. And I bought a sleep and play. I think it was like a green color, like a light green. It was like gender neutral, and I carried it with me everywhere. And I mean, I wanted to buy so many things, but Daniel, everybody was saying, just wait, because you don't know what you're gonna get your baby shower, and if anything, just save money so that once you know what you get at your baby shower, you can go ahead and get anything else that you need. And yeah, so I just remember carrying it with me everywhere. As far as symptoms, I don't remember having any. My sister Candy, she says, "Oh yeah, Brandy, I remember you being in the bathroom and you were nauseous," and I'm like, "Are you sure?" I don't even remember that. But I think if I was, it was probably just a little bit. I had maybe a little nausea, but it wasn't to where it was like really bad morning sickness. It probably just came a few times, but not really. And my pregnancy went very easy and smooth. And some cravings that I had, I always was wanting to eat menudo, and that's menudo from a can. I think it's the Juanitas. I think that's the brand, Juanitas brand. And I always wanted to eat it, and it's hot and spicy, and that's my favorite. I mean, that's my favorite menudo now. I don't really like freshly made menudo. I like it, the one that's in the can. So I always wanted to have that, and ice chips. And so that's pretty much what I was just doing, kind of going on through my pregnancy. I was having a fun time. And then around 31 weeks, we had a really big scare. And I was at work. I used to work at a retail store. And when I was at work, I went to the restroom. And when I came back, I started cleaning a showcase. We had a showcase there at work. And I started cleaning it, and I felt like something like a drip. And I was like, I just used the restroom, so I'm going to go back and check. And I went back, and when I sat down, a lot of water was gushing out, well, amniotic fluid. And I was so scared because I was like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. So I went to the front. And I told my manager, and she was like, "Brandy, go call your doctor, And I was like, okay, yeah. Like I said, I never knew what to do. So I said, okay, I'm going to call my doctor. And I said, hey, there's like a lot of fluid coming out. It's, not normal. And they said, you need to come in so we can do a test on it, run some tests on you. And I said, okay. So I had a friend from work drive me to the doctor's office, and I called Daniel, and I told him to meet me there because something was wrong. So after that, I went. They did a sonogram, and the sonographer, she said there was a lot of fluid in there, but that I still had to wait, the doctor to do another test. And really, when he came in, it was just really like a little stick that pretty much he just says, if it's your amniotic fluid, this stick is going to turn blue, and if it's not, then then it's not your fluid, and we have nothing to worry about. So, but I mean, he barely touched it, and the whole thing was bright blue. And he said, "Wow!" I mean, he called it a window of opportunity. He said, "This is our window of opportunity here. You need to go to the hospital right away, get registered, sign in, and pretty much there's going to be a possibility that you just might have to be on bed rest for the next 2 months, or until your baby is due." And that was really scary because, in the hospital, like bed rest in the hospital for 2 months, because of the fact that it was leaking, it was already coming out, so I couldn't be at home. So this was on a Monday. So I did go to the doctor, the hospital, And once I got there, you know, they started giving me lots of injections that were hormones or steroids for um, Allie's lungs. And then on Wednesday in the morning, they did another sonogram, and by that time, there was only 2% amniotic fluid left. So the doctor came in and he said, you know, it's an emergency. We really need to do an emergency C-section now because there isn't enough water in there. So, you know, it's no point in having you on bed rest if there's nothing in there. We need to get her out now. So it was really scary. Everything happened really fast. Daniel couldn't even be in the room with me because it was an emergency C-section. So I just know that when I was going through the C-section, I was feeling very scared. You know, I was in there by myself, and I had like a lot of drugs running through me. I mean, they gave me everything that I could possibly think of. I couldn't even think straight. So they said, okay, you know, they numbed me. They're like, you're gonna feel everything, no pain, but you know, you will feel all our movement. And I just remember feeling tugging, and I was so, I don't know, because I feel like I was trying to grasp it and say, you know, it's fine. But I guess my mind freaked out because I just remember I was telling the nurse, and I was like, I can't breathe. And they're checking my vital signs, and they're like, Brandy, you're fine. You're okay. You're fine. And I'm like, no, I can't breathe. And so I know that they put something on me. I think it was probably the oxygen, but I think I fainted because I just passed out. And then I remember they're like, Brandy, and I could hear it, a little voice. And then I opened my eyes, and then they had Allie there, and like, here's your baby. And I just remembered, I was like I fell back to sleep. So that was very scary with Allie. She was born at 31 weeks, and she was 3 pounds 4 ounces, and she was 18 inches long. That's how Allie was born. And she had to stay in the hospital for 2 months. So pretty much that's how much longer. I mean, she was born at 7 months, so she needed to be in there for the hospital for the next 2 months. And pretty much a summary of what happened in the hospital was she had to have her stomach pumped twice. She had 2 blood transfusions. And she pretty much had to, like, tried every single formula in the book. I mean, I don't even know. Until finally they came up with progestamel. That's the milk that she ended up, she was able to take. And that one is so expensive. I mean, the small bottle, or not bottle, but the small container or jar, that was the biggest one they have. It's a small size, and it was like $30. Small one. I was like, wow. So it was really hard, but I mean, that's the milk that she needed to be on. Oh, and we did have a scare while she was in the NICU, and they had 3 different rooms for babies. They had the gallery, which, you know, everybody knows the galleries in the hospital, where it's full of windows and everybody can look in and see all the newborn babies. There is an intensive care right next to it, and that's for babies that are sick. I mean, they're intensive care, but it's not that bad. And then there's one that's completely hidden, and that one is for very, very serious cases. I mean, you don't even see the room. And that's where Allie started out. So when she was already in the middle, I guess, let's just call it the middle, you know, there's the middle little intensive care. She, one time we walked in, there was another baby that had the same last name. So they let us in, and we said, where's our baby? And they're like, baby girl, Ariano. They're like, you know, they actually moved her to the back to the very hardest one, you know, the most serious cases. And I was just like, why? And they're like, well, she actually stopped breathing, she turned blue, and they had to perform CPR on her, and they needed to take her back. And I was like, what? I mean, how am I at home sitting there waiting for my husband to get out of work so that we can come to the hospital? You guys didn't even think to call me? I mean, this is important. She stopped breathing, they had to perform CPR on her, and they didn't call me. I was so upset. But that was something that was that happened. It was scary, but it happened once and it never happened again. But that one, that was a scary thought. And finally, in October, which is when she was originally due, she was born August 9th. So in October, we were finally able to bring her home. And she came home just like the size of a little newborn. I believe when she came home, she was like about 7 pounds, I think, or 8. And for the next year after she came home, she did have to go through some therapy, physical therapy and speech therapy. And, you know, somebody would just come to her house and kind of work with her. But as I've already posted some videos with Allie, so as you can see, she is a crazy little girl now. So, but that is my pregnancy story with Allie. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them below. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.